Stoke, and welcome back to the Hungarian Heritage Podcast, Season 4. It means so much to have you here with me again, and if this is your first time tuning in, I'm so glad that you're here. This podcast has always been a journey, not just through Hungarian people, places, food, and culture, but through the heart of what connects us all, our stories, our memories, and the pride we carry in who we are and where we come from. This season, I'll be introducing you to new friends and revisiting familiar voices who share a passion for preserving and celebrating Hungarian heritage. Together, we'll reflect on how traditions are preserved and how our Hungarian identity evolves and how we can pass this rich culture to the next generation so it doesn't just live in the past, but thrives in the future. Each episode will continue to reflect the flavors passed down through generations to the stories that carry our pride and history. Some stories will make you laugh, others might bring a tear to your eye, but all of them will reflect the beauty of what it means to be part of the Hungarian experience. I am filled with enthusiasm and honor to continue this journey with all of you as we connect the circles of Hungarians around us and make this community, Hungarian Heritage, stronger than ever. Welcome to this episode of the Hungarian Heritage Podcast. Today, I'm speaking with Samuel Hymes, and he is here to talk about his Hungarian heritage preservation and what he has accomplished so far in his journey. In our conversation, Samuel will also share about his experience with the HYPE Network, a leadership program organized through the Hungarian American Coalition. We will also discuss the importance of preserving our Hungarian heritage no matter when you start or how long it takes you to get there. Please join me in welcoming Samuel Hymes to this episode of the Hungarian Heritage Podcast. Samuel is here to share about his previous, current, and future Hungarian heritage preservation accomplishments. We will also discuss the importance of discovering and preserving one's family heritage and story. Welcome, Samuel. Thank you so much for being here today on the Hungarian Heritage Podcast.
Christine, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I feel like the discussion that we're going to have today is really important for anyone at any age to hear in their Hungarian heritage or really any heritage preservation journey. Before we dig into all that information, I always start by asking my guests, tell me a little bit about your Hungarian heritage. You know, is it on your mom's side, your dad's side, both sides? When did your family come over? Give us a little bit of that.
Absolutely. So I'm so happy to go over this. Thank you. So neither of my parents are originally Hungarian. I'm a Hungarian by way of my mother's side. And my family moved here from Hungary in the early 1900s, and they moved into Pennsylvania. This is something that I have not really grown up in a Hungarian community. It's really ironic. I'm currently talking to you right now from where I'm originally from, in Washington, D.C., where although I'm from a diplomatic city, I can't really think of many Hungarian people that I've been able to meet along the way, or there's definitely people that are of Hungarian heritage or descent, but it's just not something that's ever been brought up like other communities from like maybe South America or other places in Europe or Asia that's more spoken about more broadly. But I've never really had that experience. So really, this has been a very new thing I've been wanting to do this year and really have been enjoying it. Never really had any Hungarian events in my life. So this has been really the first year of my life where I've been able to explore more of my Hungarian heritage, which has been a great journey thus far already.
Yeah, you know, when we originally spoke before recording this episode, we talked about your place in your journey. And I feel like it's an important place to discuss with other people because it's inspirational, you know, and we will touch upon more of that later on. But, you know, knowing that you're taking on this journey where you didn't really grow up near a community or attending like annual Hungarian festivals, which will really lead into my next question. Like, it's important for people to know that it's never too late. So that's kind of the theme of this episode. It's really never too late and you should get started immediately. So when you first started, you said it was just this year. Tell us how that happened for you. What was that light bulb moment where you're like, I want to research more of my Hungarian heritage? Like, tell us a little bit about the beginning of that journey for you.
Yeah. So my family has always been proud that we've been Hungarian and that we've always known that, especially, when we're growing up, the elementary school assignments, knowing where you're originally from or where you come from before America. That's been something that we've always known, but it's just never really had a lot of significant meaning because there's not many people or really any people I could ever relate it to. And as I've become older, I'm in my late 20s right now, where I've actually heard a lot of people really describe where they're from and their heritage as a sign of growth and how they've learned a lot of great morals within not only like their personal life, but also their careers of how it has helped them and shaped their lives out, which I'm always trying to grow, always trying to become a better version of myself every day. This year, I really decided to take the next step forward, really just start out and make a commitment to learning more about my Hungarian heritage. And it was something that I, tried to not make a prior goal as a priority, but rather make it this year a priority and make it happen, where I started looking up different opportunities in the end of 2024, where I can look for in these goals for having some Hungarian heritage in my life. I came across a program called the Hype Network. It's a Hungarian network based in DC, but they work with people all over. It's about programming for people who are Hungarian Americans or people from Hungary and based in America. And it talks about their own heritage and journey and how the roots can shape their professional growth. And for me right now in this program, it's been a wonderful year program and it's been really great so far. But in the program, I was very transparent. I do not know any or most things about Hungary. I have never been to Hungary. I have never had Hungarian food, and the language I know very little so far. But from the application experience, when I applied, they were impressed with how I'm willing to learn, and they saw my CV, and they were really happy with having me aboard in the journey. And what really stood out to this opportunity so far is that in the cohort that I'm in, of the other fellows, everyone does have traditionally Hungarian heritage. They speak it. They have traditional Hungarian names and really rich Hungarian heritage in their career so far. They've been really helpful with me understanding from having not knowing anything to really explaining a lot of principles to me. And it's been really just an amazing opportunity thus far.
That's great. I mean, that was a whole lot of information and it's very inspirational. So I just want to dial back to one of the first things that you said is that you're part of this Hype network. And I just want to give the listeners a little bit more of a detailed piece of information about the Hype network that is part of the Hungarian American Coalition. So it's one of the programs that the Hungarian American Coalition sponsors or runs, essentially. So Hype stands for Hungarian Young Professional Engagement Network. So it's like a leadership program. So you clearly defined it very well, but I wanted to jump in a little bit more. You said there was an application process. So for this Hype Network leadership program, so you said you were looking to how to be more connected and you found this online. Tell us a little bit about the application process for the Hype Network.
So sure, just kind of like going into the application process was really very simple. Everything is in English. They have everything in English for people who might not speak Hungarian. But one thing that I was really looking for in the year, especially was, one of the things I've seen, especially working in business, working professionally, is that people start New Year's resolutions very late. So they started in December. And right now I started usually have transition thinking about my goals in August. The year prior, I did actually miss the application deadline because the time I Googled it, it was just past the deadline. And This year made it my really mission to make sure I was ahead of the schedule on that and applied much beforehand when they had it in December this past year. In the program, really just want you to find your CV, what you've done in your career, what your goals have been, and what do you think to get out of the program. And if you do know Hungarian heritage. Again, I'm in my cohort right now. I'm the only one that does not have any Hungarian speaking ability, does not know a lot, and have never been to the country as well. So they've been really, I think impressed from what I've been able to do in my career, but also impressed in my willingness to learn and seeing that I have the constant problem of the many people I know that even though I'm from a very diplomatic city, I don't think I can name other Hungarian people from my background or my life. In general, I'm living in DC, Philadelphia, New York, Boston. I just have not really ever had a conversation with someone about being from Hungary. And so they were really impressed with having the background and really expressing why it's such a need for me in my career to have this and why I think it can be beneficial.
You made two really great, well, all of your points are great, but two things that I wanted to focus on is that it's not uncommon living in a big city and especially a diplomatic city that there's like that separateness. So it's not uncommon to live in a city and feel less of a connection because of that, if you're unaware of where these programs are located. And secondly, you're not alone in your journey of finding out about your heritage, your Hungarian heritage. So I think that it's really admirable that you took the risk essentially of like joining, not that it was a requirement that you had to speak or have gone to Hungary, but like that was a nice professional risk that you took to put yourself in a position where you're meeting new people who speak the language, whereas you don't. And I feel like it's not uncommon. So there are many people in your position, not necessarily in the Hype network, but like there are many people in your position that don't speak or don't speak well, and they're still looking to feel connected. And I think that's really like one of the main points is that, this opportunity for you at the Hype Network Leadership Program gives you that opportunity to be connected. And I'm excited to see where this is going to go for you. So now the application process was pretty straightforward, as you said, and it wasn't necessarily a language test or how many times you've been to Hungary. So you've been accepted into the program. Tell us, like, are there requirements in this program and how long is it? A year-long program? Are you in the program for life? Tell us about those two things.
Yeah, great question. So I am in the program as a fellow for this year, but in the life aspect, I am happily going to accept and enroll after being the fellowship ends in December.
Okay.
There are still people who are alumnus of the program that are still go to meetings as well because they just want to continue furthering their Hungarian American relationship and want to see how they can still learn great leadership opportunities as well. And it's just really been a great exciting opportunity where this is only the second year, so it's still very new. And Hungarian American Coalition has been really such an amazing opportunity where I'm able to speak with people not only based in Washington, D.C., but people in Philadelphia, Boston, and even on the West Coast as well, too. And one thing that's just been really impressive to me about it is just the wholesomeness and openness. When I first started the program, I saw a list of the other people in my cohort, and I made an introductory email introducing myself. Some people are younger than me, some people are older than me, but they were really willing to speak with me about their Hungarian experience, especially most of them are from Hungary, and they came here to America for work, studies, and so on and so forth. And it's been really just so kind about expressing their experiences and how they're excited to be in this program. And they've also been really helping me and hearing about what they have learned from being from Hungary and how it's helped them grow as well. And they coming here as well. It's been really amazing to hear this. They've been so kind enough to share with me as well.
Yeah. I feel like even though like there are probably goals and initiatives on a, weekly, monthly, yearly basis of this program, those secondary things that you're receiving by the stories and the community that you're building with all of these new professional connections essentially as well. It's enriching. So that sounds great. Now, I know we discussed that one of the requirements is that you have to be in some type of education, like further education. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so it's like you have to at least have completed a college degree.
Okay.
So after that, some people are pursuing a master's degree. I know some people that are in their PhD programs or finishing their doctoral program and studies. And so that's something that people have decided to do, but really just completing a college degree or in the process of completing that undergraduate degree is something that is a requirement as well. So yeah.
So they're focusing on having people in the Hype Network Leadership Program that are postgraduate, but also still continuing in some form of education. So that's pretty great. Now, I think you should tell us a little bit about your educational background because it is quite impressive. So please feel free to share with us what you're currently working on.
Yeah, so my background from my educational standpoint, so I went to my undergraduate degree at Drexel University in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. After that, I pursued my master's degree at Georgetown University. And from that opportunity, I was currently able to pursue a fellowship at Harvard University, working and being advised by the business school and law school. It's been such a great opportunity this year, and I'm looking forward to finishing and completing my first published white paper in this June.
Wow. Congratulations. That's definitely an admirable career that you've got going there for yourself. And I'm sure that your family is very proud of all of your accomplishments, which is probably another reason why you were accepted to the Hype Network. So congratulations on that as well. So tell us a little bit about what's required of you being in this program for the year. Like what do you do on a either weekly, monthly, or yearly basis? What's that
Yes.
like?
So basically being involved with all the programming that they have, really it's involving me, especially when I was really young in my career, something I really struggled with was my time management skills. Having enough time for everything I'm putting on my plate, but really having effective opportunities, whether they be in person or remote. They have had both opportunities thus far, and hearing different speakers, whether they go over different educational opportunities, and a lot of the speakers do have Hungarian descent. Everything is also in English, by the way. So that's been very helpful, and they do add some Hungarian vocabulary in the language. So
That's
the goal of
great.
what we're doing, which has really been exciting. But also, it's just about the leadership skills. So it's been really imperative for me, and I've been really pushing myself this entire year thus far to make all these meetings. Whether if I can make it, if I'm in Washington D.C., I can make it in person. If I'm not, I can make it over Zoom. And they've been really helpful to me. Hearing these different goals and some eye-opening experiences about different leadership thoughts that I've not thought about yet, and it's really been helpful in that aspect.
That's great. So like how many meetings do they have each month? In addition to like events, like how many meetings are there?
I'd say around like 1 to 2 per month.
Oh, that's great. So you're in a constant contact with these leaders and professionals such as yourself, which is great.
Right. And then also the fellows have like some events of our own. So we're able to meet with each other personally. So there's really great personal connections with everyone, the cohort and even the alumni as well
Oh,
too.
great. Can you give us an example of some of the things that you've done on your own with your co-members?
Yeah, so we've been able to, have experienced Hungarian food, which is really great. I've really enjoyed it for the first time in my life. I didn't even know. Again, being in DC when I was
Yeah.
here, I had never had Hungarian food, and there's been Hungarian restaurants around here, so I really enjoyed that. It was really great Hungarian sweets. I really enjoyed. Was amazing, and I really enjoyed the opportunity. And getting to meet everyone, my personal
Right.
connection was really amazing.
So obviously you have to tell us what so far, because there's so much more to eat and try. What has been your favorite Hungarian dish so far?
I just again still just but for right now, like they've been giving me a lot of like the food. I haven't really been able to answer it. Just they had like this Hungarian like dessert. I can't give you the name of it, but it's
Okay.
really good, very sweet. It was like a cookie esque biscotti, and it was amazing.
That's
So yeah,
great. How about any of like the meals? Have you had like chicken paprikash yet, or like a goulash?
I've heard so many positive things about the goulash, and it's on my list. I definitely think I want to try, but I want to get from the right place. So I am being a little
Sure.
bit.
It's
I don't
okay.
want. Yeah, I want to get from the exact right place and have the first opinion about it. So that's definitely what
Yeah.
I've been holding back on right now, but definitely full intentions of having it very soon.
Well, that's good. Well, you know what? You have a world of food out there to try in the Hungarian cuisine.
Yeah.
I'm excited to hear what you try next. So that sounds fantastic. So you have meetings, scheduled meetings with the Hype Network, and you also have like smaller breakout meetings, it seems. Now, is there like an overall final project that the Hype Network wants its future leaders to do? Is there anything like that at the program?
Not a future project, but they're very strident on you, making sure you make every meeting that you can. How impactful these meetings are, really, you get what you put into the program, like most things in life, and
Of
so it's
course.
really they really want to make sure that you're in these meetings, not only just sitting there, but really asking questions and coming prepared with these questions as well too, and not just sitting on a Zoom or in person, but really hearing opportunities and coming prepared. They do a great job of giving us time in advance of who's going to be speaking and what they're going to be speaking about. So it's really great that you can come prepared with all the questions. And there's times where I'm busy and traveling where I have to really, but I still keep cognizant of what I can do and how to think of the right questions and what to think of the right goals from what I can get from the questions there.
Well, that's great. It's good that they give you an advance like idea
Yes,
of the topics, because then it helps you come up with like pertinent questions. You want to be able to
absolutely.
give not just like on the fly, not that on the fly questions or comments are bad, but like sometimes you want to think a little deeper about a topic before you ask a question. Clearly, you're enjoying yourself. Now, what would be some like words of encouragement? Because I feel like this program would be very attractive to a lot of people in their postgraduate years. So, what would be some words of encouragement if someone was considering applying to the Hype Network through the Hungarian American Coalition? What would you say to them?
All it takes is the first step. Of course, for me, for many years, I was very intimidated and maybe not wanting to apply because I didn't really know a lot about it, not really, wanting to go somewhere where I wasn't as comfortable. Now, I really become pertinent and really wanting to forward myself in this and really wanting to continue learning it as I can. So I'm not fluent in everything, no, but this has been a great step to starting the journey.
Right.
The heritage, where I might not ever be fluent, but I'm really interested in learning more about the heritage aspect about it. And just everyone's been so kind about it, so patient, and really just so helpful. I'm willing to speak about it, willing to answer any questions that I've been able to have about this. And even other people from Hungary have been able to answer questions from each other. And so it's a learning experience for them as well, too.
Oh,
So everyone's been able to learn from each other. And it's been just a wonderful opportunity from that.
that's fantastic. I feel like you started out with very, I don't want to say little connection, but very little Hungarian opportunities, throughout your life, through college. And now you've taken the Hype Network by the reins and you took a risk, and it's really a fulfilling experience for you. And I imagine that if someone else is interested, they could probably reach out to you if we provide, an email, or they can contact you maybe through the Hype Network somehow if they had more questions. Is that something that we could provide for the listeners?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to provide any of my social media,
Great.
like the happy email. That'd be happy to do that.
Great. Well, we'll leave that in the show notes for later on. So if you're interested in the Hype Network and you have more questions outside of their website, which we'll also leave in the show notes, Samuel will be able to answer your questions going forward. Let's talk about your personal connection to your Hungarian heritage. Now, you've already mentioned that you haven't been to Hungary yet. And I say yet because I feel like you're going to go there very soon after experiencing this Hype Network. Are you making plans to visit Hungary anytime soon?
Not really anytime soon right now because my work does involve the upcoming World Cup, so that's basically my new priority for this year. So after that, I can able to have more flexibility in thinking what I can do. I do have full intentions to go to Hungary someday. I just don't know when, but I am at least start learning somewhat of the language out there, but I do not know the language yet. But I would be very interested in anything I can learn and pick up to make it a very meaningful journey when I'm there, and then find out more just actually where my family was from, so I can make sure, because I know they're in Budapest, but I want to make sure I can go that I see exactly where they work. I think it just be such a meaningful experience from that opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you're clearly going to be very busy next summer because that's when the World Cup is, right? Next summer,
And
maybe?
hopefully Hungary we make it. It's gonna be the first time since 1986 that we make the World Cup. So
How great would that be? But you're going to
yeah.
be very busy next summer. So this advice would probably be for the summer after in 2027, which will give you enough time to plan. But there's another program that I would love to tell the listeners about, which I've already done an episode on, and it's with Reconnect Hungary. And that might be something that you could be interested in going forward. Reconnect Hungary is a Hungarian birth rate program. So there's a little application process with that. And there are a lot of advantages with signing up and applying for this program as well. And I think that might be something that you could consider for the future. And if you're interested, if you haven't listened to the episode already, I interviewed someone who went on the Reconnect Hungary trip. And I've also interviewed Gabi Vajtai, who is one of the directors of Reconnect Hungary. So there's information there, which I'll leave in the show notes too, but that could be something that you could think about to start your reconnection back to your family, Samuel. So that's definitely something to consider. And it'll be guided for your first time, and you'll definitely have a little bit of support there. You said you started taking Hungarian lessons. Definitely a challenging language. How's that going?
I know it's definitely challenging, but it's been really great opportunity to start the process again. This is, if I had, the one thing that I really learned a lot from this is to set tangible goals for myself, where yes, I understand I'm not going to be able to speak the language fully for a long time. It is considered one of the top hardest languages from English.
Yeah.
Yeah. But again, it's also with all the work I'm doing right now, it's just trying to find the time. But I think picking up on the smaller things, things that are exciting, whether it be understand the music, the sports aspect about it, just really enjoying, but most importantly, enjoying the process with it has been something I really like. And again, just very grateful for the people that have been willing to explain me their journey so far within the program. And then going back to Hungary, I think that's the best first step. And then as the future goes forward, I intend to learn a lot more.
Yeah, I feel like you're in a really good position right now because you're now in your life, you're surrounded with some people that speak Hungarian. So you have a little bit of that mini immersion opportunity for at least to learn some words or some phrases. So that's a great first step in this journey because, connecting to one's Hungarian heritage, it doesn't have to be all at one time. It doesn't have to be all of the things in one stew pot at one time. And, you've basically taken the reins with this Hype Network and, you're meeting people. So you can slowly start adding things in and they'll just build on it upon each other.
Absolutely. And then kind of one thing I would love to promote to the listeners out there, especially with the time of New Year's resolutions and everything else, where a lot of times where over 80% of the New Year's resolutions do stop by the third week of January. And right now I'm starting to, and something to help with me in my career so far is to start planning on my New Year's resolutions by August, September for 2026. just, trying to find the most tangible goals. I haven't solidified at least my 10 yet for what I can do to make the most out of next year. But just really starting out the whole process and just making sure to just take that first step has been so meaningful. It might not seem like a lot, but it has been so meaningful to at least start the process. And I believe even though it's one step, it's just a large, giant step ahead from where I was years ago where I knew nothing and always was wondering when I should start, if I should start. But making it a goal this year was definitely something that has been really helpful. And I hope that other people can definitely have the experience with it as I've had thus far.
You're an extremely motivating person. I really do agree with you that about New Year's resolutions. And I also like to call them goals because I feel like a resolution is very easy to give up on for all the reasons that we all know and that you mentioned. But like if you make them tangible goals, that's really a better way to digest the fact that you want to either make change or add things into your life. And not all the goals have to be of equal weight either. So like you might have larger goals right now professionally and in your studies. And like a smaller goal is maybe just learning some new words, being surrounded by Hungarian people. So, the goal setting, I think is the key, and thinking about it in advance is also a good way to look at it. I've always thought in the academic calendar year because I'm a retired teacher. So my brain always thinks in the academic calendar. So I always try and start my goals around the same time, or at least start thinking about them. It's a really good motivation for the people that are listening. So you've gone from scarcely a connection, and now you're in the Hype Network professional leadership program. How does it make you feel that you've done all of this in like a short span of time? Like you've gone from, like I said, not a little connection because you didn't want to, but it's just circumstances through life. Like, how does it make you feel that you are where you are right now?
I'm really happy with it. I think it's been a great step so far. And, I get to honor where my family came from and get to learn a lot of life lessons. I think it's been a great opportunity though so far, and I've been able to learn a lot of life lessons. Obviously, my grandparents are so inspirational. My mom and poppy are so inspirational to me. My mom is inspirational to me. But I get to have more about hearing their leadership opportunity, but also adding the ties to Hungary as well too, where maybe we never said how Hungary made us better leaders or being Hungarian made us better leaders, but rather what we can learn from it, but also tying those to Hungarian culture and Hungarian heritage, I think has been a really great step forward. And something that's been really wholesome within this opportunity. I love how genuine everyone in the program is and how, I started to make Hungarian friendships and connections, and just really overall enhancing the network has been really just so helpful to me. And I've really enjoyed this opportunity so far.
Yeah. So first thing, like you said, your family's obviously so proud of you that you're doing all this. Has this experience of you taking these steps to preserve your Hungarian heritage inspired your family, like your parents or grandparents, to start thinking about their Hungarian heritage a little bit more? Have you had more discussions in your family like, oh, where did great grandma come from? Like, has that inspired them as well?
It's been really fun to hear about these discussions. We never really spoke about it before, and we've never really had these, not that we've ever been shamed or trying to hide away, it's just that never truthfully just come up.
Yeah.
So it's always about that. And then I've been enjoying speaking to my grandparents more about learning exactly where from Hungary you're from, and being in Budapest, learning some what they know from Budapest. But also, I did tell them I do intend to go someday, and they're very so happy for me. They told me a lot of great things that I get to pick up, and then hopefully when we start taking the trip seriously, when I can actually plan the trip, I'm going to go exactly where, as much as the information I can get, to where we actually were. So that'd be really such a meaningful endeavor. And then hopefully I can bring something back that's so meaningful to them and just bring something back from where we
so
were. So that's my goal. Yeah, that's the goal.
So now remind me, because I don't remember what we said before we started recording. Were either one of your grandparents born in Hungary, or it was your great grandparents?
Great grandparents. So I'm very far removed from my Hungarian heritage.
Okay, so your grandparents, their parents, like spoke about it. So it's probably a lot of core memories for them growing up. Hearing, I think you said it was on your mom's side, right?
Yes.
It's probably a core memory for your grandmother.
It's crazy how much they know. They remember it very vividly as well. So, and this is just like, it's such a shame we never spoke about this growing up. It's like how they have all these core memories and how excited they are speaking about it. They're willing to speak about it. It's just absolutely tremendous.
I have to say that you should definitely start, with their permission, recording their conversations. Ask them questions about like when, they were growing up, what it was like having Hungarian parents, that came from Hungary. You're going to find out things that you didn't know and I think it's really sweet that they have this opportunity through you and this, membership in the Hype Network, that they get to rediscover that for themselves too. And now you're doing it as a family. So that's really sweet. And it's really important to think about your heritage and, not that you have to be involved every week at your community center, which is also a fantastic thing. But no matter where you are in your journey, and I feel like, Samuel, that your experience so far is such a great example of that it's really never too late. Like I know you're still in your late 20s and I know I'm old enough to be your mom, but no matter where we are in our journeys, you just really never know where that's going to take you. And I feel like you've really just started out on this journey. And I would say in the next 5 years or less, so many things are going to happen for you regarding your Hungarian heritage connection. When I started this podcast 3.5 years ago, I couldn't imagine the things that are happening to me now were going to happen. And they're all fantastic. Everybody's welcoming. And I think that's why a lot of people are hesitant to maybe take the risk to connect with maybe their heritage, no matter what that heritage is, because they're afraid to take that step to say, hey, you know what? I don't know anything. I don't know how to speak. I don't know a lot about this or that, but I want to be a part of it. And I think a lot of people don't take that step because they're nervous or scared. And I feel like you're a really great example of that. You shouldn't be nervous or scared because you didn't just start out, going to like a little festival. You just went right to the top. You went right to, I'm going to join this Hype Network and just completely immerse myself in learning about my Hungarian heritage. And that's a part of preserving your heritage.
One thing I would love to add about it is
Yeah.
it was never forced on me. That's like, my grandparents always just like willing to speak about it, but never forced. And they really, I remember when I told them that I got into this program, they were so happy for me that I was really taking a step forward to learn more about my Hungarian heritage and willing to have these discussions and willing to immerse myself in it. It just was never forced in my life. It's just something that they were really happy that I wanted to do this on my own. So that was really happy and great discussion. And we've had a lot of great discussions since then about it. They really are interested in after I go to our meetings. I always try to call them after saying, here's what I've learned this week about my Hungarian heritage. And they always bring up these stories that they remember from their youth or a long time ago. And it's just been really nothing but a wholesome opportunity with my grandparents. So it's really great.
It's opened up even like more conversations. I'm sure you've always...
And conversations I've never heard because I hear a lot of stories about when I was younger and some of the same ones, they're always great to hear. But these unlock new memories that they've had for themselves as well, where we got to have new dialogue in our discussions as well.
Yeah, that is so fantastic and really such a great encouragement for people to, obviously, if they're of a qualifying age or in their professional journey, to apply for the Hype Network, but just in general, take a risk, go out, because it expands other parts of your Hungarian or heritage journey, regardless of what heritage that is. It expands that because you're doing X, but you don't realize you're also going to receive Y and Z and all these other letters in the equation as a result of it. Like you're thinking you're doing one thing, but it's opening up so many other little doors that you don't realize. And I'm excited to see where your journey continues in your Hungarian heritage journey and your preservation. I would love to come back at the end of your experience and see where you're at in this Hype Network leadership in the future. So tell me your takeaway. What would you like to say as like a final word to people regarding taking risks or words of encouragement or why we should preserve our heritage? What would you like to end with as far as words of encouragement?
So I wouldn't necessarily classify this as a risk per se, but rather just take it as a different opportunity to grow where, I'm still learning a lot about different ways to grow. Something that I really wish that I had growing up was knowing more about my heritage or having these discussions, because in my late 20s right now, I'm starting to have these discussions that we never really had before. There's so many core memories or even life lessons I could have picked up along the way earlier in my career that would have been really helpful for moments I've been going through my career right now. And it's just been a really wholesome opportunity and putting myself out there with different people. I think one of the things that was an impediment to me growing up was that I felt like I'd learned the whole language or think of the whole end game or being fluent or knowing everything, which is just was not a tangible goal. But to put myself in the step forward that we've discussed so far and just trying something new and being so global with this, I think it really is such a great opportunity that I hope other people even better opportunities than I've had so far, and just really enjoying the process, which is the most important thing that I can say I've done thus far. I really enjoyed this, and I look forward to continuing out the final couple months of this amazing fellowship opportunity.
Well, your positivity is extremely heartwarming, and I feel like more people should definitely consider talking more about their Hungarian heritage, talking more about preserving their heritage, talking more to their grandparents and parents and the great-grandparents if they're around, because I feel like you're a walking billboard of why people should do that and start anytime. Like, do it as soon as you can. But, if you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, still never too late, and you will still reap the benefits of seeking out Hungarian heritage information about your family and preserving that for your future. So, Samuel, I just wanted to say thank you so much for being here today and sharing with us about your journey, because everyone's journey starts at a different time. My journey started later. Your journey started earlier. And I feel as though it doesn't matter when you start. I know that representing the Hype Network is also a great opportunity for you. And I'm so happy that you were able to share that with other people in this episode. And hopefully that will be inspiring for many people. I know I spoke to my son about it, and he's also considering for next year. Thanks again, Samuel. And for those of you who want any of the information that we talked about, it will be in the show notes. Thanks for being here today, Samuel. And I look forward to the next time that we get to speak.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Good luck with all of your Hungarian heritage preservation endeavors. Thanks for joining me on this episode of the Hungarian Heritage Podcast, with a special thanks to my guest, Samuel Hymes. I hope that you found inspiration in our discussion about preserving Hungarian heritage, no matter when you start your journey. If you're interested in contacting Samuel to find out about his experience with the Hype Network, I will leave his contact information in the show notes, as well as how you can find more information about the Hype Network Leadership Program on the Hungarian American Coalition's website. If you have feedback or questions about this episode, or you would like to contact me at the podcast, you will also find that information in the show notes. If you've enjoyed this episode and you're interested in learning more about this Hungarian heritage community, please don't hesitate to reach out. I would love to hear from you. Our theme music is Hungarian Dance by Pony Music, used with special license from Envato Market. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review wherever you listen to your podcasts. Thanks again for listening, and until next time, make sure you stay Hungarian heritage strong. Sziasztok!